helplessness is your best friend, savage.
We're going to talk about how the constant watching of porn by today's youth impact the way they look at one another, their expectations about sex, and understanding the differences is essential. Joining me from Boston is Dr. Gail Dines, author of Pornland, How Porn Has Hijacked Our Sexuality.
As mentioned last time, I do not think pornography has hijacked anybody's sexuality because it's an offshoot of sexuality, and sexuality is personal to every single person.
And porn star, now director-producer, Daniel Stormy is in.
Heck, with the name Daniel Storm, she had to either become a porn star, either that or a superhero.
Here with in the studio with me, and you and I had talked once in the past about when you became a director-producer, you immediately noticed that men and women view pornography for different reasons.
What do you expect? People are different and they may view something for different materials. That's neither a bad thing nor is it a truly good thing.
Absolutely. Most men go straight to the sex scenes. They use it as a quick way to release or get themselves going.
Talking from personal experience, that's absolutely 100% true.
They do it for visual stimulation, strictly enjoyment. A woman needs a little bit more time warming up. They're more likely to use it as a marital aid. Watch it with their spouse or their partner to help get in the mood, or maybe, strangely enough, I found a lot of women watching some of my newer titles to learn some new tips. It's a good way to broach what would you like to try new, and put something in. And so many women come up to me and ask me about things that they've seen in my movies.
Now
Talking from personal experience, that's absolutely 100% true.
you said to me once, you paraphrased it in a very nice way when I talked to you last time about this. You said men want to see people having sex.
Absolutely.
Women want to know why those people like each other so much that they want to have sex.
Exactly. Women are definitely more interested in the storyline. A man's perfectly happy to put in a DVD and go straight to the sex scene with no lead up. If you put that in next to your wife, chances are she's going to say, I would never bang the pizza delivery guy. Why does she like him so much? Storyline and romance is a lot more important to a woman.
Now, Gail, you studied what pornography has done to not just young people, but maybe everybody and their attitudes about sex and sexuality. What have you found out?
Knowing Gail Dines that pornography is evil and we have to ban it outright, and it's all down to the evil patriarchy, and everybody who's in the porn industry is being raped horribly, and we have to stop it.
Well, first of all, let's just talk about the kind of pornography that men are watching. They might be watching this kind of more gentle, soft-core-ish pornography when they're with their partners. But what studies show, and the industry shows, in fact, is that when men are alone, they're watching gonzo pornography. Bullshit. Which is hardcore, in-your-face, brutal, body-punishing, dehumanizing, debasing pornography.
No, it fucking isn't, and you know it. If you want to know what gonzo is simply put porn without a storyline, i.e. and also the cameraman is involved in the pornography. Simply put, if you want to know what I'm talking about, watch Bang Bros or Bang Bus. That's pretty much gonzo in a nutshell.
This is where you see certain sex acts of choking a woman with a penis.
And I'll bet that makes you feel really jealous.
Spitting on her, calling her a slut, slapping her. And what they find is that when men are alone, this is the pornography they go to.
Yeah, again, Gail Dines seems to make this shit up as she goes along. I cannot find any major statistic to prove that. So if anybody can find a link to it, can they please send it to me?
And what I have found in my interviews, and what studies have found for well over 30 years, is that first of all, pornography shapes the way men think about sexuality. And this
Yeah, again, that's not really truly a bad thing, nor is it a truly good thing. What you do is if you need to have reasonability and accountability built into them, and showing respect to the woman.
This is especially the case today, because the average age of first viewing pornography is about 11 or 12.
That statement is bullshit. From what I can understand, it's more like 15 or 16.
When that boy types porn into Google, he comes up with hardcore body-punishing sex.
Heck, I've been viewing pornography for the last 10 years or so, and I've yet to watch this brutal, body-punishing stuff. Mainly because I don't actually go out my way to look at it.
He has no history of sex. He's never had sexual experiences for most of them. So this is what he thinks sex is. So today, porn is the most profound form of sex education that exists in our society.
Gail,
You, sir, are an idiot.
do you think that there's some sort of developmental window during which if a young male is exposed to certain kind of explicit material, it becomes sort of a preference or something that they seek? You understand what I'm asking?
Yes, of course. Well, actually, what's interesting in the studies is it's not actually age that's the key, although we do know that obviously the younger they see it, the more they are likely to get habituated to it. What we know is for all ages of men, the more they watch it, the more desensitized they become.
I'm sorry if I repeat myself, but desensitization is not only a truly bad thing, nor is it a truly good thing. Desensitization coupled with reasonability and accountability is what you want.
The more they want harder and harder porn, and the more they believe the porn story of how the world exists, and the more they expect their partners to behave like that, they think their own bodies are going to behave like that. I can't tell you how many men tell me they're disappointed when they actually have sex because they thought they were going to keep going all night. They thought she was going to have screaming orgasms, and it all looked very boring and bland and vanilla next to what they've been masturbating.
Honestly, if you're dumb enough to believe that porn sex is going to be realistic, you're an idiot. But honestly, if you're talking about going for hours, I've gone for 3 hours straight if need be.
Stormy, how do you respond?
I would like to go back a little bit, actually. To the best of my knowledge, there has been no actual evidence found. There have been no studies, so I would like Gail to tell me where these studies are, because to the best of my knowledge, that's not true.
That's what I've been saying. She doesn't back up anything she says with proper evidence. And most of the stuff she says can be easily dismissed with a quick YouTube search or a Google search.
And I will readily admit that there is lots of gonzo porn out there. There is some hardcore sex, that includes deep throating, which she was referring to, and whatever. But that is not the majority of what is watched. If you go back over the last 20, 25 years and look at what the top selling and renting DVD titles are every single year, none of those things are in them. The number one downloaded and viewed movies are movies like Flashpoint from Wicked Pictures or Island Fever, Pirates from Digital Playground.
Yeah, Gail Dines just looked like she licked piss off a stinging nettle.
Those movies don't contain any of that
But
hardcore.
I think
She's referring to a niche.
Well, I think what she's saying is that men alone. Gail, is that true? And you can quote the study too.
I'm saying that, Stormy, you need to go and look at Adult Video News, which I'm sure you know what that is, and you need to go to the page where it actually lists the charts of the top selling, renting, and the most visited website. Well, then you're incorrect because I use them in my talks all the time.
The number one rented movie last year, I believe, was Pirates.
That's my point exactly. Gail Dines is lying at this point. Heck, I think there's about 5 gonzo porns in Adult Video News website chart right now. Supposing to her saying like 90% of all porn is gonzo.
No, probably the number one renting. I'm not disagreeing with that, but I'm saying when you take the top 50, which is they do, you've got gonzo after gonzo. You've got John Stagliani, you've got all of these people who are making gonzo porn, not that type of stuff.
You, sir, are lying and you know it.
I also want to say in terms of the studies, I mean, that's incorrect. There is actually 30 years of studies. There are excellent research studies done. And what's interesting is the weight of the evidence is that it has an effect.
Yeah, most of her studies are very old, or improperly cited, or she just cherry picks the information. In fact, I remember hearing that one of the people that you cited actually called you a liar at one point.
Now, you can come out with some rogue study and some junk science that says pornography has no effect. But when you're looking at social sciences and you're looking at the effects, the key is you go to the weight of the evidence. And there is no question that over the 30 years studies that we have had, the weight of the evidence is absolutely beyond debate now and beyond any analysis that says that porn has no effect. That is simply not true.
In 1968, Lyndon Johnson spent a shitload of taxpayer money on the President's Commission on Obscenity and Pornography. It was commissioned to fuck with pornography. They were all against it, and still, the conclusion was no reliable evidence that exposure to explicit sexual materials plays a significant role in the causation of delinquent or criminal sexual behavior. So we wasted a shitload of taxpayer money, but at least we got to the truth. We're done, right? Does it ever work that way? Not a chance. That report got stuck in the Christian craw of President Reagan. He commissioned the Meese report and pissed away a lot more of our money. Almost 2,000 pages later, every fucking page of which one of us actually read, No kidding. Why not? We paid for it. The Meese Commission was forced to conclude that there was no proof that porn did any real damage. Motherfucker.
So I want to give Stormy a chance to have maybe the last word here, or one of the last words.
No, I just I wanted to make the point that she's quoting these studies, and I would like to know where they're coming from, because
I know exactly where they're coming from. Right out of Gail Dines' fat hairy ass.
to the best of my knowledge, there isn't, and she has yet to provide me with where exactly we can find this. And also, she had mentioned in some of her research that I read about in her book that sex offenders are saying that they get, they watch this, but where is the demographic for the normal, healthy, married couple that uses pornography as a marital aid?
That's my point exactly. Pornography is wide enough and varied enough that it can please every person and anybody, apart from Gail Dines, because she thinks it's evil and it's reinforcing the evil patriarchy. Ooh, the evil patriarchy.
Well, let's ask Dr. Dines. Do you have a response
Well,
to that?
yeah, of course, there's tons of studies. I mean, you just go to some of the psychological journals, and there's 30 years. And one of the key researchers in the field, for example, is Dr. Neil Malamuth, who did a study about 8 years ago looking at, I would say, 50 or 60 of the studies from the last 20 years.
So let me get this right. Gail Dines is looking at a study which looks at a study which was originally looking at more studies. That is incredibly lazy of her.
I mean, it's not like I'm pulling these up from nowhere and making them up as I go along.
That's some bullshit.
I mean, there is a real scientific collection of knowledge here about this.
I will say this is a conversation worth continuing. Maybe I'll bring you guys back to continue this conversation because it's an important one.
Anyway, the video's over now and I have nothing really clever to say, so bye.